Hello, hello, Retail Rebel friends, family, and customers. Welcome to the virtual town hall. I'm Nathan Wright. I am CEO of Retail Rebel, and I want to, for those of you that are new to what a virtual town hall is, this is really an opportunity for us to do three things. Number one is go through the big announcements. We've got some really big announcements, big things happening. I try to hold these virtual town halls about every month, especially when we have big things happening. Sometimes it's every 2 months, but we want to go over the big announcements. That's first. The second is that I go through the survey results. So if you haven't done a survey, go to retailrebel.com. There's a share your thoughts survey. Go on the survey. We go through it, and a lot of it we'll go through. We go through the good, the bad, the ugly. As long as it's constructive feedback, we have people that are giving us. We ask on the survey, like, how likely are you to recommend Retail Rebel to a friend or family member, and we have people that'll be like, and it's on a scale of 1 to 10. They'll give us a 10, but say something that we're doing not well. And that's really meaningful to me, because it's like you're taking the time to fill out a survey. You like the company, but there's always places that we can do better, and I take that very, very constructively. Our team does. And then the last thing that we do is we go through and and fill out or I respond to live comments and questions. And so I certainly encourage everyone to go into the comment section. Feel free to ask questions in there, or make suggestions, and I'll definitely answer questions that I come across on there as well. So this is meant to be interactive. Hello, Karina. Definitely meant to be interactive. So don't hesitate. Don't be shy. Feel free to comment or ask questions, and I see it. And so let's start off with the big announcements. The big announcements, there's been a number of kind of what I'll say is news and things that have happened since the last Retail Rebel virtual town hall. Number one, one of the things that's happening is that Council Bluffs and Audubon will have retail auctions soon. So that's coming within the next, we'll say, 30 to 45 days. It could be a little bit sooner than that, but we're going to send emails out. So Council Bluffs and Audubon, Little Audubon. I had a chance to go visit Audubon. If you haven't been up there, when you drive in, there's a great big bull, like a statue of a great big bull, and I got my picture next to it. I wish I actually had thought about posting it on here, but it's really small town. But the store is really well run, excellent staff up there, and I talked to a customer that was up there that asked when are we gonna have the auctions up there. It's not going to be as big of an auction, because I think it's a much smaller group up there that buys from us, but we certainly want I think it's a great way to save a lot of money. And so we're going to be introducing auctions in Audubon. So Council Bluffs and Audubon, your auctions are coming soon. There is a survey, and Donna, if you can post the link. We are going to be opening up stores soon in the area, and so Donna's going to post a link, or we're going to have a link posted, or I think you may be able to go somewhere else, like to our website, to fill out the survey. But we have a list of like 9 different cities, and we would certainly love your feedback on which cities you'd like to see future Retail Rebels in. We're very actively going towards that. So Jerry asked the question: will the outlet store, will the auction impact the outlet store? And yes, so it won't impact it a ton. I believe that when you walk in the store, to the current plan, and it may change a little bit, but I think the current plan is when you walk in to the left where the shoe pad is, we're going to put the auctions, and that'll be where you go to pick up your auctions. We will still sell shoes there. We'll just move it to a different part of the store and change that up. So it'll be squeezing the auction in there, but there will still be a store in there. I've seen much improvements from the auction started, especially with listing items descriptions. So Mac, you're beating me to the punch on another improvement or change. Big news. We have completely revamped our quality inspections, descriptions that we're doing for our auctions. So let me this is like these virtual town halls are for people that want to get into the weeds on the weirdnesses of business and what we're trying to do, and so I'm going to tell you kind of what happened. So our auctions, we started these retail auctions, this format in the Southeast almost 2 years ago, and we would take products, and it became a really effective way of just being able to sell stuff for 70-80% off of retail, where we kept our expenses as cheap as possible, but which allowed us, to sell items for really cheap. I mean, if another retailer tried to buy this product at the price we're selling it for and put it in their stores, they would lose money. You can't buy product at this cheap. We're typically selling it for less than the manufacturer's retail price or wholesale price. So that's how it started. Now, our return rate was about 11% when we first started. It climbed all the way up to about 17% on our return rate. We're tracking that very closely because I think that many customers know we're dealing with returns, and there's obviously value in returns. There's like returns. There's a lot of reasons that we get stuff. If a box is damaged but the item is brand new on the inside, well, that item still has really good value to people, and that fits a large portion of the type of product that we get and put on our retail auctions. But if we get shoes that someone bought, they put it on, they wore it once, you can see it's worn. Like definitely on the bottom you can see someone wore it once, wore it outside, and they're like, it doesn't fit my foot right. So they'll return it. That item, it might be a $150 pair of Sorel boots. It's not worth nothing, and certainly to someone that really likes Sorel boots that has that size foot, that might be worth $50 or $60. I give that exact example because that's actually, like, I love Sorel boots, and that I bought a $160 pair of boots for $50 and love it. They were it was a great deal, and I was happy even with a little bit of use on it. It was worth it to me. If it was really heavily used, $50 would have been too much. And that's where our inspection process, we really went through, we looked at the descriptions, we changed the descriptions so they were a little bit more accurate, and trained our staff in how to assign those descriptions so we're more consistent, and then we communicated out what our return policy is in trying to line up with that. And our return rate is now less than 10% this month in the Midwest. That is huge. It's a huge improvement, and because that also means that it's a much better experience. People, there's only so much patience you can have when it's like you get there and then 20% of your stuff and 17% is not good. That level of patience. Is only going to get you so far, especially if people are driving a long ways. And so we've made a big effort on it. We're seeing big changes on it. A lot of the feedback we're having, we've done the same thing in the Southeast, and people were saying that as well. Um, and so it's really kind of a big thing. It kind of threw me off. Alice, will Douglasville get retail back? So I just did as another announcement. As many of you know, Retail Rebel merged with two other companies. All of us kind of in this liquidation space, and so I just did a virtual town hall with the Southeast as well, an hour before, because they're an hour ahead of us. And so I went through a bunch of the changes that we've been doing down there, and some of them we've done in both. Like this quality side, we've done in both. So it's fun kind of seeing some of our customers asking about Southeast stuff in here as well. But I'll certainly address the Midwest in here. On the Southeast, I recommend you go to buggybusters.com or the Buggybusters Facebook page, and you'll be able to see and get your questions answered on that one. So Greg says, I really enjoy your auctions, but sometimes like to pay cash instead of putting it on my card. Is there any way to do that at certain stores? I know you can. Other stores, you have to use your credit or debit card. It really, in all of our stores, we don't accept cash on our auctions, and there's a really important reason for that. So on our retail auctions, this is our retail auction only. The warehouse auction in Liberty, we do accept cash still up there, but that one we really have to stick on the credit cards. There's the important reason for our retail auctions is because we would have people start fake accounts and bid people up, and then they wouldn't pay for things. And this was something that, it hasn't happened in the Midwest. This happened in the earlier days, but it got to the point where we had almost 25% of people that would win stuff not come and pick it up. That's a terrible experience for everyone. It's bad for us because as a company, because then we have to relist that product, and it's bad for people that are participating, because the second place person would have loved to have that item. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. And so by having the credit card charge automatically right after the auction ends, it helps make sure that when people are bidding, that that they have intent to actually pay for it and pick it up. And I would much rather have people lose because they're not willing to bid it up and pay than have people pay. I don't want people bidding up the prices and not paying. That's just not. It's a bad experience for everyone. Auction is horrible anymore. Casey says auction is horrible anymore. My guess is that he's talking specifically about the warehouse auction. Warehouse auction, I'll definitely talk on that. And in fact, I'll probably last 2 months. Horrible. Yeah. So Casey clarified, talking the Liberty auction. So let me talk about what's going on with the Liberty auction. Liberty auction, the Liberty auction is for large format. Sometimes it's big pallets of items. Sometimes it's just big pieces of furniture, big items in general, higher ticket priced items. And I would say that a year and a half ago, for us to put a big pallet of product in there and sell it in auction, the pricing of product changed for sure in this industry. When during COVID there was so much of it and it was going for so cheap, and to put, if we were to put that same pallet in there based on the bidding and that we're getting right now, we would lose money, a lot of money, like not an insignificant amount. And so we really had to kind of look at it and say, okay, there's different types of customers that are bidding on this stuff. Not every customer wants a full pallet of stuff. And so, for us to break it down and put it as singles, what we're actually seeing is a lot more customers that are winning items. And so There are going to be segments, and Casey, I can tell you, my guess is that you're a reseller that used to buy, big pallets. We still have pallets of stuff in there, but we tried to also break down and have a lot more singles. So where we used to have 1,700 lots, like today's auction has 2,100 lots. So there's a lot more opportunity, and realistically, most people, when you have like say a single big piece of furniture, or a single piece of furniture, they would that is going to be more valuable than having 5 different or 10 different items on one pallet. And so we've really tried to break it down so it makes more sense. You're still going to get some really, really good deals, and we know that. We see the prices. We know on average what the average return is, but this is just more sustainable right now. Now, if we get really great deals of big quantity stuff, we'll absolutely put it in there, knowing that okay, we have to get a certain recovery. But we've got to be just very honest with the business side of that. We can't put large pallets in there that let's say cost $500 and we're selling them for $2, which that's absolutely the type of stuff that would happen. But we are trying to have it be a valuable experience, and I think we've actually, we've certainly had a lot of customers that the numbers suggest that we're getting more people that are winning, and the attendance is growing. So a lot of people like it, but I do know that back in the day when people would get big pallets and get them, for, we were paying good prices, but we were also getting them for a lot cheaper, and so I want to, let's see, I'm mad about getting my half box was new bidding at the time. Yeah, so Tracy asked warehouse bidding. I'm mad about my half box. I was new at bidding at the time. So, or 1 of 2 box. Yeah, there really shouldn't be, that's if something's missing, that's just an error. 1 of 2, I got you. Yeah, that's an error. So I'm assuming from what you're saying that it had both pieces, but when you went to get it and pick it up, one of the pieces was gone. If it's a box 1 of 2 or 2 of 2 or 1 of 3, something like that, we don't do those as individual lots. We shouldn't. That would be a mistake if we do. Most of our bidders, and one of the things about the warehouse auction, you walk through and preview, and folks tend to know not to bid on that sort of thing, but we try to put it. So Scott, says you've lost me two items on a pallet of shoes with only 1 left shoe. Do what's best for your company. Just know it won't be loyal anymore. And that's honest feedback. And I would say that in a case of a pallet of shoes with only left shoes, I don't think that's of great value either. So if we're doing things like that, consistently and not improving on that, that's, to be clear, that's not what's best for the company either. So what's best for the company is having an experience that's valuable to the customers that are shopping there, and in a way that we can also make money on it. Making money as a company is not an evil thing. Making money as a company helps us. If we were making these massive margins on it, then that's arguably a little less great. But we certainly try to run a business where it's of great value to our customers and they're able to save a lot of money. And so I want to, the warehouse auction, we definitely can talk quite a bit more about that. I want to go through the rest of the news. There's some other big news things that are going to happen, and then I want to go through some of the feedback as well. But I'm going to continue. Certainly, if the those that have taken the time to tune in tonight have a lot of feedback on warehouse auction, I'll certainly talk I also want to talk retail auctions. I want to talk bins and outlets. Um, Lots of different stuff happening. And so, let's see. The one of the big news that's going to happen is that the size of the retail auction, so the number of lots, typically for in Belton and Olathe, Claycomo, and KCK, those four are typically, it can be anywhere from 800, 900 lots. KCK and Olathe, we started pushing those numbers up a little bit more. You're going to see over the next few weeks a really big increase on those. We're going to push a lot more product to our retail auctions. That's a big, big thing. And we're very excited about that. It's going to create more opportunity for more people to win and save. And typically they're saving about 70 to 80% off of retail in the retail auctions. So we will be increasing the size of the retail auctions. Look for that. That's going to be a really, really big one. You can go to retailrebel.com, click on the auctions link, and you can see the different auctions that we have. So the news, Council Bluffs, Audubon getting auctions. So within the Retail Rebel stores, we'll have 6 different auctions across the chain. We're going to be opening up a new store within the next, we're hopefully within the next 90 days. So that's a really big one. Let's see. Another big piece of news is that we're going to be testing something out. We're going to be testing out a $20 bin room, and we'll probably do it in all of the Retail Rebel bin stores. We're talking about it right now, and we'll send out a survey and get feedback. But we're really excited because part of that news is that we have partnered up with another supplier, and they have an incredible number of great contracts that we're working with, and they've come out, they visited, they love what we're doing, and we find that we really get along. They love what we're doing, we love what they're doing, and there's a really good fit. And so it's allowing us to try putting in some really kind of high value loads. Now, when I say $20, one of the things that's going to be really important on that is that it's not the same type of product. I mean, we're going to have there will be a lot of Amazon product. We'll have Target product. We'll have other programs as well. But that $20 price point allows us. It's like instead of it being stocking stuffers, we're going to have presents on that first day, and so we've got some loads that we're really excited about trying it with, putting them in there. We're going to send out announcements so everyone knows that that first Saturday won't be the $11 day. It'll be the $20 day, and it'll be a test. We definitely want to get feedback, from everyone and see. But we're really excited about the possibilities of it. I think it's going to make, especially that's over the weekend. It'll be a really, really big one. The cost of the loads are a lot more expensive, but it's going to be it'll be a lot of fun. So we're hopefully going to do that within the next, say, 30 to 60 days. We'll send out announcements on that, but we want your feedback. The bin store is a really big part of our retail experience, and something that I feel like Retail Rebel does really well. We've done more expensive bin stores in the Southeast, including, we did a $35 bin store for a few weeks. It was the type of product we were getting that enabled that, and people were getting really high ticket items on that, and people have asked for that. We haven't done it for a few years. But it's definitely worth, with the relationships that we established. It's definitely worth trying, and so we want to try and see and get feedback from everyone. Did I miss Nika? Just as a really little quick recap, we're gonna test out $20 bin store in a month or two. First person to the $20 bin store will grab all the good merchandise. that says Derek. And you know, I with how we're going to do it, there. I mean, obviously, there should be plenty of great value items in that to make it worth it. And that's really the thing. It's not going to be like some bin stores, you know, will have kind of a handful of really expensive items, and that becomes like the prize that you find. This is that we want quite a bit of items that are you know, up to $100 or more in that bin store and have it be of really, really good value. And so yes, we're gonna probably do the test at all locations one weekend, so we're not causing confusion on like which store is it or anything. We want to just do it on all of it. Let's see. Quit cherry picking the bins. So quit cherry picking the bins, says Shannon, and Cheryl says ditto on the cherry picking. That's really so. I need to be kind of clear on like a lot of people get kind of confused about the retail auctions, and they're like, that's all stuff that you're taking out. Well, if you look at the size of the items, we have a lot of much larger items that don't go in our bins right now. And so we buy separate loads that are really good for the auction type of product. We do have byproduct from some of that's going to be smaller ticket items that we can mix in for those lower days, the cheaper days, knowing that, you know, they're going to sell on $5 day or $3 day, whatever. So no, the goal is obviously to have really good value and have everyone walk away with good deals out of the bins. And so when we do the $20, that's going to be an opportunity to have much higher priced items, in much higher retail priced items in those bins. So I think it'll be a big change from a lot of different. If you've done bin stores at other places, I mean, a few years ago, like $7 was kind of that peak. Retail Rebel was like the first to do $11 bins and put, you know, higher ticket items in there. We're looking at increasing that now. So Jeremy asks, what is the point of the auction items that are worth only $15 or less? There really isn't a point to that. When that happens, that's a mistake. There really should be only items that are like a minimum of $25 retail value or less in the auctions, and most things are averaging. The average retail price for an auction, I believe, is about $40 or $50. It should be somewhere in there. $40, closer to $40. But yeah, if there's like a $15 item in the auction, that was a mistake. It shouldn't have happened. Olathe bins were horrible this week. All bins was horrible this week. So this is really, really good feedback on the bins. We definitely want to take a look. The bins have been told by previous management that if higher value found, it's automatically pulled. So Marty says, we aren't talking about them being separate. We have been told by previous management that if higher value product is found, it's automatically pulled. So I don't know if that's so as CEO of the company, I can tell you right now that you know, if that's not what we're going to be doing, and we can certainly make sure that there's a stop to that. The bins are meant to be an experience and a place where you can find really good deals, and so and it doesn't make a ton of sense to pull high priced items that are in the bins and then send them back to the distribution center to be processed or anything like that, you know, because I don't know how many items, you know, that would necessarily be and who's making that call. I do know that, you know, if there's we had an issue where if there was cell phones with personal, like used cell phones, that's a problem and something that we need to check. But we've had to look at that and change that because admittedly, what was happening is someone would, you know, have a really nice cell phone that they found in the bins, go up, and we would have an employee that pulled it and said, hey, we can't sell this, and then that cell phone would disappear. that was theft. That was not okay. And so we revisited that. The idea is that if there was personal identifiable information on something, that's what we're trying to protect. But it also becomes a way of having a negative experience for customers and theft. And so that's something that we're getting kind of in the nuances of it. But I want to bring it up because I want to just be really clear that what our goals are with it, and that what our goals are with the bins in general. Let's see. Old Halloween items. Let's see. $5 days come back. So. Yeah, and it sounds like there's a few folks on here that have seen that, but we'll be really clear about that. I know that we have our director of operations on here, or chief operating officer on here, and he'll also go back to the team and make sure that we're really clear on that. So for the next virtual town hall, we'll make sure that we have a really clear process and address that and have that communication out to our stores so they know as well, and we're all unified. We don't have stores that are doing things differently. We want to make sure that we're unified there. So much. So this is really good feedback. Rand, it sounds like there's a handful of folks that have had a bad experience with the bins this week. A lot of Christmas, a lot of Halloween, and so we'll definitely take a look at that and kind of see what the mix is that's going in there. What are you doing about bidders not picking up or paying for their wins? I was outbid at the last second 3 weeks in a row for the same pallet that wasn't picked up the week before. So if they're not picking up, where you said pallet, Mike, on your question, sorry, the question is, what are you doing about bidders not picking up or paying for their wins? I was outbid at the last second 3 weeks in a row for the same pallet that wasn't picked up the week before. That's our warehouse auction. I will have to look at that. And that's the exact reason that on the retail auctions we require a credit card to be transacted at the end of an auction, is to stop stuff like that. Let's see. Marcia, too many dollar store items, so a holiday. This is good to know. Let's see. I appreciate you. Marty says, I appreciate you addressing that. We really miss the past experience of getting the good find and celebrating it with others. Maybe they'll change in employees at the store will help improve our odds as well. Yeah, I mean, honestly, our goal is to have the bins be a really great experience and have it be that kind of treasure find. That's one of the reasons I want to do the $20 bin store experience, is that you find those really good deals, and that should be a celebration. I mean, even on those handful of items that, yes, we may end up losing money selling a $300 cell phone for $11 or $7 or whatever day it was found on. It's really good marketing for customers to be able to share with their friends and family. Look at, I got this incredible deal at Retail Rebel, and so that's an important part of it. Let's see. Heard at Belton, someone found an item that was supposed to be on the warehouse side. It was found on the bins by a customer, and the employee told her she couldn't get it for the price. It needs to be on the other side. So Krista, sorry, I was reading to myself-ish. Krista writes, heard at Belton, someone found an item that was supposed to be on the warehouse side that was found on the bins by a customer, and the employee told her she couldn't get it for the price. It needed to be on the other side. So I would say that on that, if it had a price ticket on it, and sometimes obviously we'll do we do the automatic markdown. If it's been on the outlet side for too long, we move it over to the bins. But if a stocker, an associate, makes a mistake and takes a whole pallet of brand new retail product and puts that in the bins, that's a mistake. That shouldn't happen. and I don't think that really happens. But if it's just kind of like a one or two item that's over there, that should stay over there. That's not going to be the case. I mean, that to me seems like an area where there could be something that we need to fix on our side. So that's definitely on future virtual town hall meetings. Hopefully we'll we're going to address it, and two, I'd love to get more feedback on how well we do at addressing that. Are the other days going to stay the price they are now? So Karina asks about on the $20 bin store test. No, we would change. It changes a little bit. It won't drop from like I think, and we'll publish it. We'll publish it before so everyone knows what it is. So I don't want to necessarily. I know I wanted the $20 starting point, but it'll be kind of the similar percent discount. That's actually probably the best way to look at it. What you see, the retail Rebel discount, we have $11 in the first day and $7 in the second day. It would be that same type of discount curve that we would do. So if you look at that, you'll probably be able to guess pretty close at what we would do. But we're going to publish it before, so the customers, friends, and family know when they show up, what it's going to look like. Okay, so Danielle says the retail side is more food, drinks, clothing, and shoes, just not as exciting and compelling to come when that is mostly what is available. And then the bin side is mostly low value, not exciting items either. So I've really cut down my frequency. I used to have a desire to come several times a month, and now maybe once a month. So that's really important feedback for a few reasons. So number one is obviously Danielle doesn't do the auctions, and there's quite a bit of stuff in the auctions that we've never put in a retail Rebel store, like cell phones or laptops. We put those on auction, but those were never a part of our outlets before. But I can say that we are going to be adding a lot more kind of small appliances and things like that into our outlets over the next few months. So you're going to see a big change in our outlets and the average kind of retail value. We absolutely leaned into food as much as we could, and we had a ton of apparel deals, a lot of like brand name apparel stuff that was coming in, and so but we want to keep that outlet really engaging. So if your local retail Rebel has an outlet in it, expect to see a lot more variety of goods over the next little bit. And then on the bins, that again, the $20 bins is really what I think I would love to have that become a weekly, like every week we do a $20 bins. But we're certainly going to get feedback from customers. I mean, if we do the $20 bins, we'll probably do it a few times, but if it's overwhelmingly yes, like this is great, we're finding some excellent deals, it's different, we want to do this, like it's not just trinkets and stuff like that, like great, that's the goal. If we get feedback where they're like, I'm just not finding value, then we certainly can try other higher priced loads, to put in there, but we certainly aren't going to force the higher price. We want to make sure that it makes sense for our customers. So Carla says, I appreciate you doing this as a business. Will you go back after the live ends to read comments? So I do on quite a bit, but Carla, if you want to make sure that I see it, the best place to do that is go to retailrebel.com and share my thoughts. I believe Retail Rebel. I think it's share my thoughts. Yes, share your thoughts. If you go on there, I look and read through all of those. And we have a whole ton of customer service that are going through. That's one thing I really want to call out, as part of these virtual town halls. When we put out a survey, and we literally have hundreds of responses over about a 2-day period on these. And I can tell you, one of the things that's made me so excited and so happy is that our customer experience director has put it on a spreadsheet, one spreadsheet with a nice summary of different thoughts, and then on the individual ones, we're going through and putting action items for different staff and management to go address and take care of, and so I love it. It really is. It helps it. So if someone takes the time to give feedback or express a concern, I can tell you people are looking at it, and we're trying to make it better, and that's good. It's nothing is worse. I personally am a customer, obviously, at a number of other places, and especially the bigger a company gets, the less I feel like anyone's actually going to read my idea and this is what this is like. I want this engagement because we really get a lot of interesting, great feedback, and so I want it where customers can come into a Retail Rebel, see a change that was made that was a suggestion they made in a virtual town hall a month or two earlier. That's one of the things that's really kind of fun about what we are as a company, is that we're constantly innovating and building and changing things, and so yes, to go back to kind of the initial thought, I will absolutely be we are digesting as much of the customer feedback as possible. So Andy asks, you need to make the auction app better, because right now it's hard to look up items. So there's a few different things. So on the warehouse auction, the auction app is designed in a way that makes it really it's very friendly when you're on site. It's not you can't bid for stuff without coming to the auction at Liberty. And that's by design, because it's just such we never it's such a weird mix of stuff that's in there. It's just pallet, item, and we set it up really fast, and then customers really kind of determine what the value is of it, and they can use the app. We are working on an app for the retail auction side. That's not really an announcement, because it's going to be a ways away. We know this, and so, but because when we release it, we want it to work really well, and so there's a lot that's going to go into it, and a lot of more development and so forth. But we are going to be working on that, and we'll keep you posted on that. So, and it sounds like, we definitely want to reevaluate our bins over the last little bit. Testing area, please. So Amanda says, bring back the plug-in testing area. Can't plug in to test. So that's an interesting one. We'll look at that, because so I can tell you that we have 3 different stores that have all come together on the bins. We had various types of bin stores, and all 3 of these store chains. This is Retail Rebel, another store called Buggy Busters, and another store called Bin 5. And so all 3 of them, run things just a little bit different. And so I think it's going to be. I can tell you that Retail Rebel is in my opinion, I think that the bin's the best of all of them. But that testing of stuff and having opening stations is something that some of these other bin store entities have done with some level of success. I think that there's some things that we have to look at to make it better, but certainly something that we want to look at. And so, there absolutely should be testing stations. So we're going to talk to our operations, take a look at that, and see what we can do. We used to have a plug-in on the support post to test at Council Bluffs. So, yeah, we definitely want to look at that. Pallets in Q1. Let's see. Addressing the bin mix would be better. Okay, so my chief operating officer has said we're already addressing the bin mix. It will be better. And we do have testing in bins. Not all plugs work, and it's on the list to fix. So thank you. Thank you. So this is, I mean, honestly, like, this is so valuable, because we want this to be good. So Belton means everywhere. Richard, Nathan, you do a great job. Thank you. Richard says, thank you. You do a great job. Thank you for the town hall. We feel the Waterhouse auctions are a little lacking. Pallets are not true pallets lately. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about, like, the trying to make it so we can get, enough of a recovery on it. And honestly, on the warehouse auctions, it's not necessarily our main business. It's an important part of the business. And so, but our goal is to open up Retail Rebel stores all across the country. And so we really focus on those retail auctions and the bins and the outlet. The warehouse auction is an important part of the business because of how big it is and how much product we move through there. And so because of that, we don't have to make as much money on it, but it's got to pay for the space and at least pay for the inventory that we're putting in there. We're not so big as a company that we can take a loss on 100,000 square feet of warehouse auction week over week. That would put the company in jeopardy. And so we need to make sure that we're putting stuff in there, and that it's a good value. And Richard, yeah, you're calling out that you are talking warehouse. So that's a big one. I don't know. Let's see. So let me. I'm going to unhide some of these. For some reason, I don't know if it's intentional or accidental. Debbie writes, also Belton needs more help in clearing out trash or empty boxes and bins. There's a lot of it. That is something that we definitely struggle with. Kind of company wide. And Andy says, I would recommend a trash place in the back of the store. Bins are always filled with empty boxes. So, and I don't know. So we have a lot of associates that are in here trying, taking notes and helping answer questions. Those two comments were actually hid, and so I'm going to instruct the staff. That's constructive feedback and something that, like, it's if there's empty boxes and trash, we have to address that, and this is the forum to do that. So I take it constructively. Thank you for taking the time. So even if there's negative feedback in here, I'm taking it as constructive. I can tell you I've done in these virtual town halls, I've done, I would say, probably 24 of them now, over 20 of these virtual town halls over the years. And I can tell you there's only one time I've ever had someone come on. It was twice. There was twice. We had and both times were like disgruntled previous employees that had come in and started saying all sorts of just terrible things. But out of 24 times doing this, I have found that if you're tuning in on a Thursday night to hear some guy talk about his, what we're trying to do with the business, and answer your questions, then you're typically spending time here because you actually care about the business and you want to supply something that we can do. Let's see. This feedback, Tracy, no problem. Retail auctions, let's get into it, please. What are you doing to make a better experience in terms of consistency, removing subjectivity from staff and staff from location to location? Laura, great question. Retail auctions. Let's get into it, please. What are you doing to make this a better experience in terms of consistency, removing subjectivity from staff to staff, and from location to location? I love that question. That is such a good question. So, what Laura's talking about is something that we have been talking about a lot internally, and this not just in the Midwest. This is in the Midwest, Southeast, North Carolina, Georgia, Kansas, Missouri, and now soon to be Council Bluffs. We rolled these things out really fast, and we knew that that we would stumble along the way, but we really wanted to be up before Christmas, so people had a different way to get really good deals for the holiday season. We're now going through and creating standard operating procedures, just training that's very consistent, and working on training our staff on these things. And so, and some of the things that the benefit of each of the stores running a little bit differently is that some of the things that they've come up with have actually been really good, and we'll be like, oh well, let's apply this. Like for instance, KCK has a little sign that says please wait to be let in, because they were getting overwhelmed with the amount of people coming in. I think that's actually a really good idea. And in fact, we're actually working on some software support to help that. But yes, we're working on consistent training. That's the first thing. The second thing is what I mentioned about the Retail Rebel News. We've gone through some quality processes. So we've changed the descriptions and training at the warehouse to really make clear what the different conditions are, because our goal is that when you're bidding on an auction, exactly or close enough what you're bidding on that where to bid. A heavily used pair of shoes is going to have a very different value than a lightly used pair of shoes, which is going to have a different value from a new in box pair of shoes. If we don't put that condition right, that makes it really hard for customers to bid appropriately, so they feel like they got a good deal or paid what they're willing to pay for it, and that becomes a negative experience. Our goal is that this becomes a really convenient way, and we're putting enough items on there that you guys can get a ton of your shopping done. You can get all of your Christmas presents done because you of the consistency of the experience and the amount of product that we're putting on there. There's enough that everyone can walk away with a deal. If everyone's walking away with really bad experiences, and the conditions aren't accurate, then that's not going to work. Customers will have bad experience and walk away, and they won't do it again. They'll be like, why would I risk it? I end up getting stuff that is missing pieces, or it said it's new in box, but it's in a plastic bag. Those are the types of things that we're looking at really, really closely. So our retail auction experience, we've gone through a lot of work to make that better. The numbers seem to suggest that it's working and it's paying off. And so that's why we're now at the point where we're going to be pushing a lot more product to the retail auctions. Our goal is to get up to about 2,000 lots per auction for our most mature stores. And so 6,000 different items every single week, and that should be really, really great. For customers to have that. And so let's see, Leavenworth, Kansas needs a rebel. I love how you phrase that. I need to see where Leavenworth is. Admittedly, I'm new to the Kansas City area. I've been here for 6 months, and so I will definitely look at that. We have a survey that we're sending out on where to open up the next Retail Rebel. We are planning on opening up some, and we'll make some very specific announcements as soon as we are under contract on leases. Let's see, Laura, how can I help you? Because I have plenty of feedback. Laura, I love feedback. And so go to share my thoughts, and I promise you, we go through it, and we're categorizing and looking at it and making lists of like projects to work on. And so uh, definitely, if you've got feedback, one of the things I'll tell you, like on here, on someone took the time and they gave us a 1 out of 10 on the feedback on the survey. But they took the time to come in here and put their put what they would like to see better, and I that's an honest opinion. They viewed us as a 1 out of 10 experience, and they said specifically what they would have liked to see. In fact, actually, I'm looking at it right now, and it's about Liberty Auction. They're feeling that again that there's I do hear you, and I see you. But the fact that they've taken time to do that means obviously they want to see the company do better. So let's see. Can you come to Carroll, Iowa? We are. I mean, we definitely want to. We are working out a lot of big things right now to be able to expand the retail Rebel stores. That's why. That's one of the reasons that we combined all of the stores and the businesses, is to put together a team that can do that. And so we're very excited about it. Let's see. Yeah. So, Laura calls out something. Your descriptions don't matter if you call something like new, and it has electrical tape on it. Definitely not like new. I agree. So again, we are going to try to be. We are working a lot on training, and we're working on trying to be accurate, and so it's not going to be, unfortunately, it won't be perfect. The industry that we're in, we're tackling something. If we were in the business like say Walmart, where it's brand new product in box, like Walmart has a different set of problems, a different set of challenges, or let's say a local retailer has a different set of challenges than what we're doing in a space selling a product that may not be brand new. It could be a return. It could be a damaged box. You're not going to see a damaged box very often on a Walmart shelf. But there's great value with that. there's great value with damaged box items, and so that's important, that we have that option. Let's see, and then there is a lot of feedback in here. Slight visible wear, makeup is completely empty. So Richard, 100% this is a mistake. So literally, Richard writes, literally just picked up an item, slight visible wear, and the makeup was completely empty. We know it's hard to go through all items, but used items value $292. We're actually still in the parking lot. We are still in the parking lot in Olathe. Out of all the items, this doesn't happen very often. Doesn't happen very often. That's absolutely a mistake. And so one of the things I will stress on this, that we have a much better thing in place, and but we're not stopping there at trying to do a better job inspecting. We also are recognizing, we record every single item that gets returned and we analyze it to see like if there's patterns. Is there certain SKUs that are more problematic, or certain categories that are more problematic, and is there something we can do at the warehouse to better address that? So it's going to be, I know, an ongoing improvement. Our goal is to have the return rate be significantly less than 10%. And right now, for the first time since we've introduced the auctions, we're now below 10%. But as Richard's example is, and he's in Olathe right now, that's there's still room for us to do better, and so we know that that's an important part of the good experience, and we'll continue to work on that. I'm not sure what that is. Is the Olathe location closing? No. No. Olathe, in fact, is doing really, really well. Olathe, it's a smaller store, and we have just the auction and the bins in there. There's no outlet in there, but it's been doing really well. Especially the auctions. Holy cow! Well, both the auctions and the bins. But as far as auctions go, Olathe and KCK are both probably going to get to 2,000 lots per auction before the others. There's just a really, really big customer base. Okay, so no, Olathe is not moving either. So Olathe is just fine where it's at. Don't mess with Olathe. It's great. Okay, so there's a question: why are some items missing when they go to pick up? So that's one of the things that we're working on actually right now. Is there's a few reasons why an item might be missing. All of them are obviously exceptions, and to be clear, we measure the returns, and it's a really small percent of the total number of returns. So I won't spend a ton of time on it, but I will say that if there's an item missing, we're creating a new flag on that, on how to research it. There was a store in Retail Rebel that had a higher than average percent of missing items, and so we investigated, and we found an employee that was stealing items out of bins, out of the auction bins, and that employee was terminated. And amazingly, our missing items stopped happening or lowered significantly. So that's unfortunately one reason. But sometimes we have a process where we go through and scan any of the remaining items after the pickup days, and if someone couldn't find that item, and we scan it and it's there, a notification is sent out to that customer that they can get their item if they elected to do that, if we find it. And so that's something we're going to work on a little bit, because it happens with some level of regularity that there's items that customers couldn't find, but they were there. And I don't know exactly if it's, customer moved an item from another item, but what we're trying to do is really get some visibility around that, so we can make that happen very, very infrequently, have that be a big exception. Oh, Amanda writes, you might kill my personal resale business in Leavenworth if you bring a Retail Rebel here, but it's been a good run, 7 years as the only person tapestry reseller in town. I tell every customer where they can get them from way, way cheaper, and it doesn't affect me much. Oh, that's a really nice thing to say. And no, we don't. So, and this is a little bit of a it's kind of an interesting point. We have a ton of people. We have a lot of customers that buy as resellers, and we have a lot of customers that buy for themselves. And honestly, we recognize that, and we really do try to support both. Now, I can't remember if it was a feedback on the live or if it was a feedback in the survey that said this, but someone said, is there a way that you can kind of have the resellers not bid, or I can't remember exactly. I just glanced at it. I think it was on here. And what I'll say is that I mean, if someone's able to buy an item in auction and then turn around and sell it for more money on marketplace, where it's worth their time, or sell it on eBay, and you know, it becomes a significant part of their business, I think that's an opportunity to still get a really good deal as a customer. And so, you know, resellers are great, you know, because they'll often take chances on something, or buy something that's really kind of unique. You know, like it's a specific video card that, you know, most people aren't constructing personal computers these days, but you know, those that are typically going on eBay, you know, and they'll buy a really high-end video card. Well, we get a lot of high-end video cards, and we'll put them on our retail auctions, and you know, so if you're buying it, you know, there's probably a good chance it's going to end up on eBay, you know, and they'll make some money. But if you're building a gaming PC, you're going to be thrilled to come across and save way more than you could get it any other way. And so we try to take care of both, and I think that our model supports both. And so anytime, like with auctions, one of the things, auctions is very much a supply and demand, like economics 101. You know, when the recovery starts getting higher and higher, we use that as an opportunity to put more product in, so there's more opportunity to grow the customer base. And when we get to 2000 and the recovery gets higher and higher, well, guess what? We can actually open up a store that's, you know, within 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and have it you know, and continue to grow customers in that. And that's really kind of what our model is doing, and what we're trying to do, how we're trying to grow this in a way that we're profitable. It's saving customers 70% off, 80% off in many cases, and even it'll be worth their time. And so that's really kind of the inside baseball of what we're trying to do. Let's see. Okay, so Luis says a system to make money returns faster when we bet online. It's ridiculous that it takes 15 days to return $30 or $40. In the end, I never know if that money really comes back or not. There's two different systems. We have a point of sale system, and we have and some of it, like if it goes through the point of sale system and the retail auctions, if it's the point of sale system, I can tell you that sometimes those, I guess in all cases, we use what's called a processor, transaction processor, and sometimes it just, like, it's out of our hands. And we'll do the refund, and it'll still take a few days. 15 days, you know, is obviously too long, and I will say that our growth and the amount of time it takes for us to manually go in and do these refunds, for the amount of volume that we're doing, the amount of auction items on average right now. Let me do some really quick math. 3,000. So we're selling about, let's say, 12,000 items a week through our retail auctions, and you know, when our return rate was like 15%, 16%, you know, you do the math on that. That's a lot of manual returns that we're doing. I can say that we are working on automating that, and should have that automated within the next, we're hoping 30 days, within the next 30 days. So that will, it changes our process, so we're able to go in and authorize those much faster instead of going to a manual thing. So that's really inside baseball. But Luis, that's me explaining what's going on, and so our goal is not, there's no economic benefit, you know, to us taking a long time giving a return when a return has been authorized. That's not our business. Our business is, you know, to have, you know, save customers a lot of money, and so let's see. Uh, every week. So let's see. And I wanted, so I do want to say something. You know, I want to make sure um, that, you know, especially in here, you know, one of the things that's really important to us at Retail Rebel, to me as well, is you know, kind of the community aspect of what we're doing. And Retail Rebel community, the one thing that we all have in common is that, you know, we're trying to save money. That's a really important thing. We have a lot of people that that are resellers and make money. We have a lot of people that are coming here trying to stretch their dollar. There are some people that love a good deal. They you know, I'm that way. If I get something for a really great price, I like to, you know, tell my friends about it. I think that's great. There are a number of our customers that need a really good deal. You know, that it's important for them. We had in the last virtual town hall, we have a store that's just outside of Asheville, North Carolina. And if you're familiar with that area, it got absolutely devastated by hurricane flooding in the mountains. And our store is literally 30 minutes away from that. And one of our customers, you know, is buying a lot of the food out of the bin rooms, you know, for distribution in that area, for, you know, for service. And so that's, you know, we recognize that there's a lot of different reasons that we have the Retail Rebel community. I want to say, I think it's really important to recognize that, like, you know, just because someone is, you know, buying for reselling, they're a part of our community, and I would say, like, there's going to be lots of different motivations. You know, we want good behavior, and we want, you know, respect for people, and so I think I think it's something that as a community we will definitely push for, and you know that you know that you know, if, there's kind of, I'm watching a little bit of the thread here where it's kind of getting into, you know, a little bit of a battle between the resellers and the not resellers, and I do want everyone to just recognize that, like, you know, one of the things that we can certainly do is you know, push for more product out there, but please do be respectful of each other. I think that's important, and so, and I'll just leave it at that. This is their friends and many of the staff. And Penny writes, I look forward to seeing the longtime supporters of Retail Rebel on a weekly basis, and they are friends as many of the staff. And I like that, honestly. I think I opened with there was someone from the Southeast that was in here, and the community side of it is, I think that's excellent. You know, we want, and we definitely have feedback in the surveys of employees that are not being respectful to some of our customers, and so do know that we take that and we're sending it off to the stores to just address it and use it, hopefully as training, where we can train and say, look, this is important to us. We, you know, so if that happens, please do put it in the survey, and you know, because if it's a consistent thing, then that's not the culture we're trying to build, and that associate isn't a good fit for the company. In most cases, I think I really do think, you know, people try to be good, and so we'll work and train to you know, build them up and help them in understanding the community and culture that we're trying to build. Anita asks, I didn't think we allowed returns. Returns in the warehouse auction are not, we don't have returns in the warehouse auction because there's a preview, you go in, you see. We do allow returns in the retail auctions if it doesn't fit the description or the condition. If it fits the description and the condition, then there's no returns. If it was misdescribed or the condition's wrong, then we do allow returns. Yeah, and definitely like paying for high dollar items and get them home and they don't work. That's a is a really honestly a crappy experience, and we recognize that. In fact, so I mentioned we go through the returns process a lot with this business, and so we're looking at that, and we've seen that from a dollar standpoint, the higher priced items, anything that's $95 or more of retail, for a while had the highest return rate. So that was the first section that we started really looking at that. So hopefully you're going to see a really big improvement on that, Donna and Joan, that it's going to be a lot. It should be a lot better. U.S. Cart, that's really awesome. U.S. Cart says, aside from community aspect, you guys help our ministry to be able to get items at a cheaper price and maximize our giving for God's kingdom. U.S. Cart's a part of our community, and that is I love hearing stuff like that where there's a lot of good things happening. People save on money and they're able to help their own endeavors. They're not a reseller, I'm sorry, I don't know actually what U.S. Cart does, but it sounds like a really good mission. And then shout out to Tina that works at State Avenue, always in good spirits. I know Tina, yes, always wears the hat, always in good spirits. We love the Belton Retail Rebel staff. By the way, I do recognize this has been an hour and 15 minutes, and many of you, we still have 60 viewers on it. It peaked, I think, 80 or 90, but we certainly appreciate that. Just for fun, I would love to see where you guys are from on here. So if you can take a second and just write in the comment field where you're tuning in from, that I would love to see that. I'll read a few more of the survey results, but I do want to say in the surveys, please take time. We do go through the surveys and it's incredibly helpful. So Heather's from is in Liberty, and then Leawood, Kansas, Leavenworth, Shawnee, Kansas, Lee Summit, KCK. So I love this because I've been here long enough now that I'm starting to really know the Kansas City area, and Council Bluffs and Audubon. I will say, oh wow, DeSoto, North Independence, Waldo, Independence, Valeska, Iowa, Nib Noster, Missouri, love that. Council Bluffs, Raymore. So I will say that Raymore. We've got a handful from Raymore, Bonner Springs. This is a kind of an unofficial announcement. I'm gonna throw this out there. We are going to open up a Retail Rebel in Omaha, Nebraska. That's coming. So when if you know anyone in Omaha, Nebraska, give them a heads up. We're coming. Missing announcements. What is it? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to recap the announcements real quick, and so let's do this, and then we'll call it a night. Go grab some dinner, and root for the Chiefs. And I will say this is kind of a funny thing. When I first moved here, let me tell you, we did this virtual town hall on a Thursday, and I think it was the second virtual town hall we ever did. And the Chiefs were playing on a Thursday night, and I have learned never to do a virtual town hall on the night that the Chiefs are playing. It's on the verge of blasphemy, and so I thought that was really funny, and uh, so go Chiefs for Saturday. Here's the Retail Rebel news. Council Bluffs and Audubon are going to have auctions soon, within the next 30 to 45 days for both of them. So get ready, Iowa. And with that announcement, also within the next 3 months, 3 to 4 months, we will have a Retail Rebel in Omaha, Nebraska. We're also going to open up in another market, hopefully sooner than that. But that one, I can't make an announcement yet. Number 3, we'll say, we're sending out a survey on the list of with a list of cities that we're considering, and would love feedback on that for expansion. Another announcement: quality improvements on inspections have been implemented with the new condition codes. You should see in the retail auctions a big improvement there. We're seeing it in the numbers, so hopefully in your experience, you guys will see it as well. We are increasing the size of the retail auctions. So right now, many of them are hovering around 1,000 lots, some of them a little bit more. We're going to be pushing up to like 1,500 to 2,000 lots over the next few weeks, up to month. So there's going to be a lot of really good deals in the retail auctions. And then finally, we are going to be running a $20 bin store test, and we'll likely do it in all of the bin stores the same weekend. So everyone will have a shot in your local market Retail Rebel store to try it, and then we're going to send out surveys. We would love for our customers to give us feedback on what they think, and if that's something that makes sense for their budgets. And yes, Marcia, I do learn. So thank you so much, Laurie. I don't know, Laurie, if I was actually forgiven, but I'm certainly not going to let it happen again. So thank you all again. Fill out surveys, we will respond to as many as we possibly can. We appreciate you all. Have a great night. Have a great Saturday with the game and with friends, family, and we will see you later.